we're in the front door. We're going counterclockwise, first floor, okay? And a lot of our attention is going to be at the sole plate. Okay, some people call it the sill plate. Some people call it the mud sill plate. Call it what you will. Okay, but we're at these plates. Now, on these plates, on the interior walls, then they're not mud sills any longer. And it's okay to shoot them with nails. Now, over here, it's okay to shoot it with nails, but when you have the exterior perimeter, okay, then you're supposed to have no fewer than 2 anchor bolts installed on any one structural member. That's a piece of wood. So we've got a couple nails here, but we only have 1 anchor bolt. Now this anchor bolt is also supposed to be within 12 inches of the edge of the door, okay, and it's supposed to have a washer underneath it. Okay, so I don't see a washer here. It's within 12 inches. We do not have 2 pieces. That's why I put the pink tape there. But that's okay. That's where we're at right now. So moving on along, because we're movers, we got some chewed up. Okay, see our bracing right in here over the front door. I got a short video addressing that. Also the leak that's up there. Got a short video addressing that too. So, but yeah, some of this blocking is there for shear support, and it's supposed to fit. You're not supposed to have 1/4 inch gaps between your block and your wall stud. I'm sorry, you're just not. Come down here, second verse, same as the first. We got 1 piece, we got 1 anchor bolt, 2 nails. I appreciate that. But that's not the code I read. That's not the code I read. And I don't see a washer there either. So I'm going to get out my trusty pink paint again. Just so we know where we're looking. Now this green around the perimeter is boride treatment for subterranean termites as required by code. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. And and it's good to see. Within 12 inches, we have 1. Now, since we have 1, we got a washer under this one. Wow, we got a washer under this one. Now, if those 2 are okay, then we need to take this washer off. Or we need to put washers on that. But it's one or the other. I get that. So, there we are. Now, we're getting a little closer. A couple more things about anchor bolts. They're supposed to be in the middle third of the structure. Okay? And it's supposed to be within every 6 feet. Or 5 feet. 5 feet. I'm not going to get that critical about it, but I am going to be starting looking for them. So if I see 1 here, I expect to see 1 here. There we go. That's good. We're doing all right. Here. That's not 5 feet. See? Look at there. Within 12 inches. There. Washers on those. Washers on those. Look there. Look at where they're supposed to be. What? Look at here. Does this look like the middle third to you? It doesn't look like the middle third to me. I can get out my tape measure, or the builder could get out his tape measure and send me a shot, you know, because I don't mind being wrong. I do not mind being wrong. I'm not a proud man. So long as my client is being well served and taken care of, that's the end game here, because we're all human. Okay? Got another one. That's close. I'm not going to call that one. That was close. You're tempting me. Tempting me. Look at that. Look how close it is to the third. This one that's not the third. I'm sorry. Okay. Coming on along. This is a retrofitted anchor bolt. That's a good thing. They saw it. Code inspector probably called it out. Good for him. Builder recognized what the code inspector said. The code inspector will probably recognize what I'm saying about this. If you got questions about that, the code inspector can correct me. The code inspector can certainly correct me. And you know what? I changed my mind about this one now. You're going to make me get my pink paint out. Those are not the middle third, not the middle third, not the middle third. Okay, let's roll on through here. Within 12 inches, retrofitted, See, we're good. Is that the middle third? Doesn't look like the middle third to me.
So do you think the inspection has already been done?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Well, I'll stop the video here. Well, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm not ashamed of anything. The way the code inspectors work is they come in and they find problems, and they're good at it. They're very good, and I'm proud of them, and I'm proud to work next to them, and they're protecting you. So he makes a list of all the problems that he finds, and then so that's been red tagged. Everything else is green tagged. So if this board, okay, is fine when he was here, and he comes back to re-inspect the red tag things, if that board is broken, he won't look at it. He'll walk right past it. He's there on a very task specific. He comes for the first. He finds so that's the first punch. Comes in for the second punch. The more times he comes in, the more task specific he comes in. This house could be blown down, but he's coming over there to look at the bathtub. And the whole house could be on fire, on smoke, but he's coming in to look at the bathtub. It's already been green tagged. Code inspector does not re-inspect anything that he's green tagged. Okay, as a general rule. The only hard fast rule is there's no hard fast rules. So again, I don't mind being wrong, so well as my client has been well served, and so, but that's generally the way it goes. Also, if this house, sometimes builders will use a third-party independent inspector, so we use our third-party independent inspector. And it'll be a company that's a TREC, TREC licensed company. Why do we got this black? Why do we got this red over here? You know something? You know something? That's Neville. If the code inspector's got a problem with it, I've got a problem with it. But I can't add or take away from that.
Red paint is.
Yeah, somebody had a problem with it at one time. And somebody, this red paint is to be addressed. And again, if I can find it, something or whatever, if I can speak to it. But for example, these two boards here, are they saying they need more or what? I don't, or are they saying finger joints can't be used for blocking? Mm-hmm. Okay, blocks and is that what they're saying? That's a pretty good idea. Did I catch that? I doubt it. But I'll put it there. But again, if the code inspector has a problem with it that I can't identify, I'm not going to argue with him and tell him that your house is fine. He needs to be made happy. You won't get a certificate of occupancy if he's not happy. Be very careful about these plastic tubs along the building process because they are notorious for cracking in the corners. They get flexed wrong. Okay, I don't see any problems here. But they have a bad reputation for being flexed in the corners. Over here, see we got the red paint. Look over here. We got an anchor bolt that was in the outside third, and the bolt wasn't even down to the floor. So they retrofitted an anchor bolt right next to it, and that corrected the problem. So it doesn't hurt to have that anchor bolt in the wrong place because they corrected the problem, but that's what that was about. That's probably what that paint was over there. That one's outside of the third. Okay, that one right there was outside of the third. They corrected it.
So they'll come back and revisit all these things?
Well, those have already been done. He'll never revisit that. Once he green tags it, the paint's still there, but once he green tags it, he's going to come back and just recheck the things that were not. I don't like this blocking right here. That blocking doesn't look right to me. So we're rolling through here because we're rollers. So, as I was saying, while I was in here hunting and looking and being distracted, if the builder hires a third-party inspector, a company, they're TREC licensed, but the rules change. And what happened?
Okay, so that could be a builder inspection marks.
It could be.
Okay.
It's usually a company. Well, I won't mention any company names. Well, I can, because they're not doing anything illegal. Like Burgess, they say we have our own third-party inspector. It comes in, don't worry. It's not the city. It's third party. He's going to take care of us and all that. Well, according to the Texas Real Estate Commission rules, you're supposed to fill every hole I'm glad you put it there. And when you have, every hole is supposed to be filled, not one nail. In fact, one nail doesn't triangulate. A minimum of 3 when it's raw structure. But yeah, we need to fill some holes here. So that third-party inspector that the builder hires, it usually is the result of, they want to make the process go smoother, and they've experienced problems in certain areas. And so the builder and the home inspection company will get together, because it's not underneath the Texas Real Estate Commission, and they'll get together and they'll set a list of issues that they want the third-party inspector to address.
Mm-hmm.
Only those issues. That company will do a lot of inspections for a low rate because they have a limited scope. They've got this set of instructions that are there. It's going to be all in this video. So what happens is that he'll come in and step right over a problem because he was not hired to look for that problem. So it gives you a sense of comfort, I understand, and you do get a better inspection because the inspector was here and he did find those problems, and you did get a better house. But don't get the impression that you got the same thing as an independent third-party inspector that you hired to do your work for you, yourself. Again, you're hiring somebody like myself to find what's going through the cracks. Double stud. So is this the double stud here? So we added a double stud, has a single stud there. That's what it looks like. It looks like that's been addressed. But man, look at this, all that chopping. Look at this. What does that mean? That's like 1/3. Yeah, they were trying to cut a relief so they could add this support through here. They're trying to do this. They whittled it through, and this is nailed in. Okay, we got integrity here. We've got integrity here, but now we've reduced our integrity on a double stud that was required to be put in the first place. So, I don't know. So I would like the code inspector to tell you how I'm wrong. And then we've taken these triple studs and we've taken 1/3 of them out. All right, we need to look at that, because when you're notching on a support up to 1/3. You're okay. Is that 1/3? Is probably okay. That's probably okay. But that doesn't mean that it would hurt you one bit.
What about this?
To have the code inspector tell you I'm an idiot. Yeah, thank you. It wouldn't hurt you one bit to have the code inspector tell you I'm an idiot. I've heard that before. You got our blocking. How snug is that? Got our blocking. How snug is that? Okay, moving on in here. On the 1/3. Here we go. We're still rolling. Okay, it's been corrected. I like that. I'm a liker. And I'm basically lazy, Look at this. Every hole has been filled. Every hole has been filled. Why wasn't every hole filled over here? I know it's just a nailing plate. I know that's just a nailing plate. But if the holes are there, they should be filled. That's the hard, fast rule. Well, the hard, fast rule is there's no hard, fast rule. But that's the hard, fast rule. Coming in. See, I've been talking about this. Everybody's talking about this. Now in your plumbing, this is where your kitchen island is going to go. And you're going to be disappointed to learn that the new codes do not allow for electrical receptacle outlets to be installed on the walls underneath the countertop on an island. And before they were. I get it that you're going to have some appliances that you're going to use. I get that. I understand. But that's the way of the world. But what this tells me, the way this plumbing is coming up here in the sewer pipe, is that we're going to expect to find installed an air admittance valve, because we do not have pattern fittings for our drain. So, because we can't run a vent pipe up through there, we don't want a vent pipe coming up through here. We're not that industrial. So you'll have, underneath here, you'll have an air admittance valve sitting up about like that. And I've never seen one fail, but it is a mechanical device. And I've seen some old ones. And eventually, if your sink quits draining or the odor starts happening, don't be surprised if, you know, a plumber tells you that you need a new air admittance valve. And that would be a reasonable request. And they're not expensive. It's just good information. Good information. Nailing plates here, nailing plates here. We're looking good. Okay, our banding. Okay, this goes to the attic. That goes to the second floor. Got to catch up with myself. This little foam banding right here. It could be duct tape. It could be newspaper. The code's very not specific about the material, but this is the industry has gone with this white and pink banding, and that helps the thermal bridging. That's an energy saver for you. That's a good thing. We like good things. Coming on along. Here we go. When I say every hole should be filled, those holes are so that the metal could be milled. Those open holes like that, those do not require nails. That was for the jig, so that it can be mass produced. Moving on along. Stud to top plate, got it. Looking good. And then, you know, I'm not a bad guy. You know, if it's done right, I like that. That's what we're here for. Added one. So we've had this anchor bolt discussion already. And
We seems to be having the anchor bolts. Sorry.
yeah.
Washers, some places.
Yeah.
So these guys, oh, they're there, I think.
Sometimes the washers are kind of hard to find.
Yeah.
Yep.
I find this one. I thought it was not there, but.
I know. And the first couple that I found. Yep.
They are, I think, way deeper inside, right?
Yep. And the first ones that I found, you know, they might be buried in the wood. I don't think they are, though. I think they were actually missing some washers on the first ones. Again, you know, maybe I'm wrong. So, but we need to find out just how wrong I am. That's what I want to know, is how wrong am I? So, I don't want to prove how right I was. I want to prove how wrong am I. Coming along here, and kind of looking up and looking down. I don't know if we can see this. We can see it from the second floor. Daylight. See that little hole right there? Okay, if daylight can get in, water can get in. See that little hole up there? Maybe you can't. It's there though. If daylight can get in. Oh, come on, man. Alright. If daylight can get in, water can get in. Okay, we're rolling on. We're rollers here. And in here, these panels are for structural strength. This air duct, okay, is kinked. Alright? And when I come back next time, it's going to be covered with drywall. And the air duct manufacturer says that that's not supposed to happen like that. Now here's another thing, just for instance, see how large this hole is on this panel? Okay, on this strut? Alright, that's acceptable. That's acceptable. I don't understand it, but I'm not an engineer. Coming on along. Panels, 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 panels. Good. Anchor bolts, anchor bolts. We're missing some wall here. Now, I know the builder intends on correcting that. But on this stud plate, these have cleats, so you don't have to fill them with nails. But if your cleat doesn't make it, you know, we just could do that a little better, I think. Yay team. Okay. Moving on up. Oh man. Look, the carpenter was a beaver.
Yeah, I see these kind of things so many places, like
Yep.
those.
That's the wood we have now.
Yeah.
One thing is our codes is a work in progress, and they continue to get more stringent, and they continue to rely on the manufacturer's installation instructions as they evolve. And so they put boards closer together, they put more fasteners in, they continue to improve the codes. Why? Because the building materials continue to evolve. And every generation has its pluses and its minuses of building as the building. And they say, well, they don't build them like they used to. Well, no, they'll never build them like they used to. And they say, the old houses don't fall down like the new houses. No, all the crappy old houses fell down already. Only the good houses are left. So don't think an old house never fell down. No, but there's plenty of crappy old houses that fell down. See how this air duct is kinked? It's supposed to go in the most direct
So
path.
what is the usual life of these homes?
Well, again, let's remember that I'm not an attorney. I'm not licensed to practice real estate. I'm not an appraiser. But an appraiser will usually, my appraiser told me that I had a 15-year loan on my house. Unusual, but I mean, I had a 15-year loan on my house. And they said the appraiser felt like my house would last 15 years. Because that's all he's going to commit to. So if you got a 30-year, if they still require that, if your appraiser is required to estimate the age of the structure, don't be surprised if it's not going to be. Coincidentally, it'll be the length of your loan, because that's all the bank cares about. That's what the appraiser is there for. The bank. How long will this house last? How long does a car last? You know, I've got cars that I did not maintain as well as I should. I'm ashamed to admit, and they didn't last very long. And then I've got cars that I have impeculate maintenance on them, and you know, I'm clocking. Forget me. Okay, shout out to my brother Brian. He's got a Toyota, I think it's a 4Runner. He's about to clock 300,000 miles because he maintains it. So it just depends. It's been proven that due diligence and maintenance will make you live longer cheaper. It'll make your car live longer cheaper, and it'll make your house live longer cheaper. So whether it's your health or your car or your house, you can actually save money by spending money on it. Here's another thing that's kind of interesting while we're down here is in the air duct, and because in the attic I'll probably be in a hurry, and I don't want to be, but I'll probably be. You're not supposed to crush your duct. And see these nylon straps, that webbing? Okay, that's fine to support it. But what's not supposed to happen, what's supposed to happen is there's supposed to be saddles underneath it. Because see the way it's all turned up like a cheap pair of underwear, the elastic and the cheap pair of underwear you got at the flea market? Okay, cutting into your skin and stuff, and you take it off, you got stripes on your hips for a week. That's gonna do the same thing to your duct. If it does it to you, it'll do it to your air duct. So you're supposed to have saddles underneath that. And see here, this is,
Obviously, you mean some kind of wood sheet or something?
well, sometimes they use cardboard and sometimes they use sheet metal. I'd rather they use sheet metal, but I don't care if they use cardboard.
Do
as
you
long-
support that?
Yes, sir, to keep to protect your air duct. And see the way it's crushed over here?
Uh-huh.
It's crushed over your clothes dryer.
Uh-huh.
It's crushed right there. No, it's not supposed to be crushed or restricted.
Yeah.
And then you've got water pipe right next to your air duct. You're going to have different temperatures on that? Yeah, what happens when you get two different temperatures? Condensation. Then you're going to have water leaks coming down. You got a clothes dryer blowing hot, humid air. You got your air conditioner blowing cold air. You got your water pipe coming through here. And no, you're going to develop, I mean, I can't promise you, but this is ripe for failure. I predict horrible things in the future. I know I tell bad stories.
So what they can do about it?
Oh man, well that's going to be between you and who we call the builder, the project manager. This house is a conglomerate. It's built by a company. And so what I call all the time, I call the builder, it's short for project manager. So the project manager will come in here and he will come up with a solution. The solution might be that he's going to tell you I'm an idiot. That might be his solution. Or he might come in and say, well, that's wrong and we've got to do something about it. Or so the code inspector will come in, like a circuit judge, and says, yes, we understand that, but because of this or that, code inspector has enough authority that he can, approve it, even no matter what I tell you. And so the code inspector has that much authority that he can do that. And then another person that can help you, he works for the company, but it's his license. There's an engineer on record. And the engineer on record can come in and say, we did the calculations when we did the drawing.